अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, क्या हाल चाल हैं आप लोगों के। अच्छा, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं ज़ाया करते। देयर इज़ अ लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, ठीक है, टू दिस एग्जैक्ट मॉक। अगर आपको इफ़ यू कैन फाइंड अ पीडीएफ इन दैट फोल्डर दैट्स ग्रेट, इफ़ नॉट जस्ट रिफ्रेश इट, यू विल फाइंड इट देयर, ठीक है। सर S1 में कितने मार्क्स कटे हैं कि बेटा जब रिज़ल्ट आएगा ना तब देख लेना, ठीक है, जब रिज़ल्ट आएगा तब देख लेना, ठीक है। अभी से ज़्यादा ना सोचें कि कितने मार्क्स आने चाहिए या इतने मार्क्स आए तो ये, इतने आए तो वो, ठीक है, दैट्स ऑल इररेलेवेंट। सर योर मॉक इज़ हेल्पफुल देन स्कूल वंस, चलें, दैट्स ग्रेट। टॉपिक कल से करेंगे, टॉपिक कल करेंगे इंशाल्लाह। सर डू यू थिंक द एड मैथ सी आई विल बी ऑन द सेम डिफ़िकल्टी एज योर मॉक्स? बेटा मैंने नहीं बनाया एड मैथ्स का सी आई, अगर बनाया होता तब भी नहीं बताता। Will there be a break for Maghrib? You can take a break and then complete the rest of the exam, ठीक है। तो मैं इसको अराउंड, अभी क्या बज रहे हैं, 6 बज रहे हैं ना, मैं इसको अराउंड 8-8:15 डिस्कस करूँगा, ठीक है। सो आई गिव यू गाइस अराउंड 2 hours, okay, should be enough. Sir Ahmed Sah's stream is going on as well, really at this time? Oh, oops. चलें फिर एक काम करते हैं, ओके, सर अहमद साया की भी स्ट्रीम है। चलें नेक्स्ट टाइम इंशाल्लाह I'll coordinate with him and we will try and make sure कि हम एक ही टाइम पे ना रखें स्ट्रीम। अच्छा, आई कांट सी हिम लाइव। चलें खैर, आई लीव इट अप टू यू गाइस, ठीक है। फ्रॉम 6 to 10, ओहो 6 to 10, वाह, ये तो बिल्कुल मेरी स्ट्रीम के साथ कोइंसाइड कर रही है। अब क्या करें, अब क्या करें, अब क्या करें। चलें आज के दिन कर लेते हैं, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट कल का दिन है, संडे का दिन है, देन फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द डेज आई विल कोऑर्डिनेट विथ हिम, ठीक है। एंड वी विल try and make sure we don't keep it at the same time, ठीक है। So good luck, you guys can start. Make sure to complete it by 8:15, ठीक है, और उसके बाद फिर we'll discuss, ठीक है। So before you guys start, if you can also like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, that would be great. If not, तो फिर I'll see you guys, फिर I mean if you haven't done that, please do that, I appreciate it, ठीक है। So I'll see you guys once you're done, inshallah. अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, क्या हाल चाल हैं आप लोगों के? बस 1 मिनट में स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। Okay, so here we go. Let's start, shall we? First, give me your thoughts. I remember 15 minutes ago this was happening. Still managed to do 6 questions, so that's not bad. What's the difficulty level? You guys tell me. What's the difficulty level? I should be the one asking you guys. अच्छा एक सेकंड, ज़रा कैमरा मज़ेदार सेंटर में नहीं अलाइन हो रहा। एक सेकंड। अब से अच्छा, पेपर ज़रा हम थोड़ा स्पीडी डिस्कस करेंगे। उसकी वजह यह है कि I want to wrap this up before 9 o'clock if possible. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get to work. I would appreciate before I start if you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and also like the video, like the stream if you haven't done that yet. Okay, so with that said, let's start. First question. Find the exact values of k, okay, such that the straight line y is equals to 1 minus k minus x is a tangent. So the keyword is tangent. And the second you read tangent, you should know that b square minus 4ac has got to be equal to 0. Advanced mein dekho, loop system, just start with what you know. Okay, start with what you know. That's what I would suggest. Simple as that. Okay, I'm going to go in the sequence. Okay. So b square minus 4ac, but before I use b square minus 4ac, I have to first equate the two. So 1 minus k minus x is equals to kx square plus x plus 2k. Now let's move all the terms to the right hand side. So that's going to be kx square plus x. All right. So whatever all the terms that we've dealt with, we're going to cross them out so we don't end up dealing with them again. So plus 2k plus k minus 1 is equals to 0. So what are we left with? We're left with kx square plus 2x plus 3k minus 1 is equals to 0. Okay? Now, b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. b square means 2 squared minus 4 into a into c, which means 3k minus 1 is equal to 0. So that's 4. 4 into k is 4k. Now, for a minute, let's let 4k be 4k. So 4 minus 4k into 3k, that's going to be minus 12k square. And then minus 4k into minus 1, that's going to be plus 4 equals to 0. 3k plus 4k, sorry. Yeah. So let's write this nicely. Let's write it with k square first. So k square plus 4k plus 4 is equals to 0. Let's take minus 4 common. Okay, so if we take minus 4 common, remember to flip the signs. So that's going to be 3k square minus k minus 1 is equals to 0. So we're looking for factors of negative 3 that leave us with minus 1. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me make sure that I've done everything correctly. Yeah, I think I have. So it says find the exact values of k. Okay. So exact values of k ka matlab, I don't think we can solve this with the help of quadratic. I don't think we can do this with the help of middle term breaking, but let me just double check, make sure that I've done everything correctly. So k square plus 2k, 3k minus 1, so b square minus 4ac, 4k, that's minus 12k square plus 4k, so minus 12k square. ठीक है, सही है, everything's correct. हाँ, middle term नहीं होगी, तो quadratic formula. ठीक है, but to be on the safe side, it's always a good idea to check as you go along. You don't want to solve the entire question and then in the end realize that you've done something wrong. So minus b plus minus square root of b square, which means minus 1 squared minus 4 into 3 into minus 1. ठीक हो गया, divided by 2a. 2a का मतलब 2 times 3. So that means k is equals to minus minus 1, that's plus 1, square root of 1 squared, so that's 1, 1 plus 12, that's 13 upon 6. That's it. The question asked us for exact value, so this is good enough. We'll leave it over here. ठीक है? On Instagram. Yeah, it's okay if you didn't take 4 common. Does the question say anything? No. So ultimately your answer should have been simplified. Okay, ultimately your answer should be simplified. Okay. All right, now question number 2. Question 2 says a curve has equation so and so. Find the x coordinates of the stationary points on the curve. Okay, stationary points on the x coordinates of the curve. Now you can solve this by expanding it, or you can do this by product rule. I think a good idea would be to first expand because it's not a lot of working, but if you do product rule, that may be a lot of working. So, but I'll leave it up to you guys. You know, it's up to you, whatever method you want to use. There is no right or wrong method. Synthetic division is allowed. I've confirmed with a lot of teachers, synthetic division is allowed. Okay, there is nothing about synthetic division which makes me say that it's not allowed. It is allowed. मैंने confirm कर लिया. Okay, so we have y is equals to 5x square plus 20x plus 20 minus x cube, okay, minus 4x square minus 4x. Okay, let's simplify this. So we have minus x cube, okay. Then we have 5x square minus 4x square, so that's going to be plus x square. All right, then we have 20x and then minus 4x, so that's going to be plus 16x. Okay, and then plus 20. Now let's find dy by dx. So dy by dx will be equal to minus 3x square plus 2x plus 16. Now, since we want stationary point, that means we're going to differentiate and we're going to set it equal to 0. So minus 3x square plus 2x plus 16 is equals to 0. So we're looking, अच्छा एक काम करते हैं. First, let's make the coefficient of x square as positive. That'll make it easier to deal with. So 3x square minus 2x minus 16 is equals to 0. So we're looking for factors of minus 48 that give us negative 2. Okay, factors of minus 48 that give us negative 2. Okay, so that could be 6 into minus 8. Yep, that's going to work. So 3x square plus 6x minus 8x minus 16 is equals to 0. Let's take 3x common. So we have x plus 2. Let's take minus 8 common. So we have x plus 2, which is equal to 0. So that means 3x minus 8 into x plus 2 equals 0, which means x is equals to 8 upon 3 and x is equals to minus 2. There you go. The question wanted us to find out the stationary points and we have done just that. So that's it. Job done. Okay, now how many of you got this right? Say yes. Whoever got this right, just say yes. Okay, good job. Good job, good job. Acha, अब next part is that we have to sketch. Okay, we have to sketch. On the axes below, sketch the graph of so-and-so, stating the coordinates of the point where the curve meets the axes, meaning you only have to show the x and the y-intercept. Okay, so this is a cubic curve. Now, first thing we should do is we should first determine the nature of the cubic curve. Okay, so notice that we will have x squared here, and then we have minus x. So that means this is going to be minus x cubed, which means it's going to be a minimum maximum curve. Okay, now let's start with the intercepts. Now we can see one x-intercept will be negative 2. So that means if this is minus 1, somewhere over here perhaps will be minus 2. And then the other x-intercept is 5. We can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's a sketch, but still try and be as accurate as possible. Okay, Then after that, what about the y-intercept? The y-intercept can be found by simply plugging in 0 in place of x. So y would be equal to 5 into 0 plus 2, that's 2, 2 squared. So 2 squared is 4, 4 times 5, that's equal to 20. So that means the y-intercept is 20. Okay? Achha, we do not have to show the turning point. Okay? We do not have to show the turning point. Okay? But the turning point are basically for your advantage in the sense that just so that you can make a better sketch. Okay? Achha, what are all the points through which the curve is passing? Let's put a cross there. So these are all the points through which the curve is passing. Okay? Achha, also, read the question. You're only supposed to find out the point where the curve meets the axes, meaning the x and y-intercept, and that's it, nothing else. Achha, notice that there is a square at x plus 2. So that means that the curve will be tangent to the point when x is equals to 2. So this is what the curve is. This is the kind of curve that we are expecting. Okay, 8 upon 3, by the way, what we got earlier, 8 upon 3 is 2 point something. So that means it's going to turn somewhere in between, somewhere over here, basically. Okay? Now let's put this together. देखो curve को इतना मुश्किल नहीं बनाओ. ठीक है, ये आपका कोई art का exam नहीं है, ये math का exam है. Read the question, see what the question has asked, just find that out. Okay, if the question hasn't asked for the turning point, then no need to show the turning point. Just get the x-intercept, which can be found by making y equals to 0. Just get the y-intercept, which can be found by making x equals to 0. Put it all together, that's it. You have a nice and smooth curve. Job done. ठीक है, ये नहीं कि ये मैं इसका turning x coordinate of the turning point भी निकाल लूँ तो मैं y coordinate of the turning point भी निकाल लूँ. No, that is just for your own sake so that you know approximately where to turn it. Okay, you don't have to show that. बेटा कौन है ये? Sir, turning point, don't we need to find y coordinate for the first part? I think you're the same person who does not read the instructions. Okay, so here, you still think we need to find the y coordinate? No, right? So please read the question carefully. All right, question number 3. This really confused me because the turning point for 8 upon 3 was like 50 something. Beta, तो who asked you to find out the y coordinate of the turning point? किसने बोला आपको? क्यों आपकी ज़िंदगी में कोई कम परेशानी है? हाँ, पहले से कम परेशानी है क्या आपकी ज़िंदगी में? नहीं ना? तो फिर और परेशानियाँ क्यों ऐड कर रहे हैं? फिर मेरी भी कुछ परेशानियाँ ले लो. जब उसने y coordinate of the turning point का कुछ जिक्र किया ही नहीं है, तो फिर आप क्यों निकाल रहे हैं? Why make your life more miserable than it already is? Simple as that. Okay, now, question number 3. Okay, on a serious note, just read the question, guys, please. Okay, just read the question. Make your life easy, make my life easy. It's not as complicated. Yes, there are questions that are complicated, but don't make easy questions complicated, okay? All right, now, नहीं मुझे कोई गुस्सा नहीं चढ़ा हुआ, ठीक है? It's just that I find it, the thing is, I find it funny that students just make things more complicated and then they complain that it's a difficult subject. So the problem is not the subject. Anyway, let's continue. So write 3 lgx minus 2 lgy square minus 3 as a single logarithm to base 10. Easy questions, you just have to use rules of logs. So 3 lgx means lgx cube minus lgy power 4. Why? Because this 2 will then become the power of y square, which is going to be y power 4. Okay, here we are, minus 3. Achha, what to do with 3? If I want to simplify and write it as a single logarithm base 10, then I got to do something with 3 also. So how about with 3 I write lg10? Why? Because lg10 is equal to what? lg10 is equal to 1. So 3 lg10 remains 3. अच्छा, threshold अभी मैं बता दूंगा, मुझे याद नहीं है कि मैंने क्या questions दिए, अभी मैं देखूंगा तो मैं बता दूंगा कि क्या threshold है, ठीक है? lgx cube minus lgy power 4 minus lg10 cube, which is basically equal to 1000. Okay? Now, how do we deal with this? So first of all, here's a suggestion. Let lgx cube be as it is, okay, and deal with this first. Y power 4 upon 1000. Okay? Now you deal with lgx cube minus y power 4 upon 10,000, which means x cube divided by y power 4 upon 1000. Achha, in the end, we'll have a vote and then you guys can give your input whether you want a topical stream or whether you want another mock. Okay? So into 1000 upon y power 4. Okay, so what do we have? In the end, we have lg 1000x cube upon y power 4. That's it. Job done. Okay, part B. Solve the equation lgx base 3 plus lg log 3 base x is equal to 5 upon 2. Okay, so let's use substitution. Achha, whenever you're using substitution, here's my suggestion. My suggestion is that always substitute the one which has the argument as x. Okay, so let's take log x base 3 to be equal to a. And make sure that you mention this clearly. Okay, so that means a plus 1 upon log x base 3 is equals to 5 upon 2. Which means a plus 1 upon a is equals to 5 upon 2. So where are we heading? We're heading towards a quadratic equation. So it's going to be a square plus 1 upon a is equals to 5 upon 2. Let's cross multiply. So 2a square plus 2 is equals to 5a. Let's move all the terms to the left hand side. So we have 2a square minus 5a plus 2 is equals to 0. Let's do middle term breaking. So 2a square minus 4a plus a plus 2 is equals to 0. Let's take 2a common. So we have a minus 2. Let's take minus 1 common. So we also have a minus 2 is equals to 0. So that means a is equals to 1 upon 2 or a is equals to 2. Now don't forget that you've made a substitution here. Okay, you have made a substitution here. So let's go back to that substitution. That substitution was log x base 3 is equals to 1 upon 2. So that means x is equals to 3 power half, okay, or log x base 3 is equals to 2, which means x is equals to 3 square, which is equal to 9. And that's it. Job done. You can write it as 3 power half, you can write it as root 3. Doesn't matter. What's important is that you get the right answer. Okay, now let's move to question number 4. Modulus. Achha. Now, how do we solve this question? There are multiple ways. You can remove modulus from both sides with a plus minus, or you can square both sides and then do it. Okay? Abdullah beta, how about we focus on what we're doing right now? Okay, like I said, I'll take your suggestion. Okay. 3a dobara beta stream ko piche karke dekh lo. No beta, I haven't spoken to him yet. I will speak to him. Okay. आप लोग अपने काम पे ध्यान दें. We will take care of it. ठीक है? Sir, I use square due to the inequality. Well, it's up to you. You can use square. You can do it without squaring. It really doesn't matter. ठीक है? So let's square it. Okay? Let's square it. Let's see what happens if we square. So if you square it, you have 5x plus 4, the whole thing square, lesser than or equal to 2x minus 3, the whole thing square. So 25x square, 5 into 4 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40, 40x plus 16 is lesser than or equal to 4x square, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, plus 9. Now let's move all the terms to the left hand side. So 25 minus 4 is equal to 21x square, 40 plus 12, that's equal to 52x, 16 minus 9, that's equal to 7. 3a recheck, 3a recheck, इसमें क्या गड़बड़ है? सही तो है बेटा. 3a में x डिवाइड पहले कर लें तो आंसर गलत आ रहा है. x क्यूब अपॉन y पावर 4. मेरे ख्याल में आप लोग सही कह रहे हैं. सॉरी, मैंने माइनस वाले चीज़ को मैंने कंसिडर नहीं किया. So you guys are right. First I should do, okay, my apologies. 3a, the answer, let me check the answer by the way. First let me check the answer, फिर देखते हैं कि कौन सही है कौन गलत है. Just give me a minute, I'll quickly check the answer. Okay, you guys are right. It's 1000 niche. 1000 niche. Sorry, I didn't notice the minus sign. I thought it's x cube plus lgy. Okay, my apologies. Let's just quickly fix this and then move on. Okay, so first let's do this. So this would be lg x cube. चलें जिन जिन ने अपने marks काट लिए हैं यहाँ पे वो खुश हो जाएं. Minus lg 1000. Okay, so this would be lg x cube upon y power 4 divided by 1000, which means LG x cube over 1000 y power 4. ठीक हो गया? चलें. Thank you for pointing that out. जिसने भी point out किया, I think there were multiple people, but good job. So let's continue. 21x square plus 52x, and what's 16 minus 9? That's plus 7 is less than or equal to 0. Acha, are these divisible by 7? I'm afraid not. Are these divisible by any other number? I'm afraid not. ना 3 से divisible हैं, 7 से तो दूर दूर तक नहीं है. तो फिर क्या करें? चलें, कोई option नहीं बचा except that we do middle term breaking. So 21 times 7, what's that equal to? That's equal to 147. Okay. So we're looking for factors of 147. Yeah, 147 that give us a sum of 52. So this is not divisible by 2. This is not divisible. It is divisible by 3. So 3 4s are 12. 2 carry 49. Yep, that does the job. So 21x square plus 3x plus 49x plus 7 is lesser than or equal to 0. Let's take 3x common. So that's going to be 7x plus 1. Let's take 7 common. So that would be 7x plus 1 is lesser than or equal to 0. So that means, skipping a few steps, x is equals to minus 7 upon 3 or x is equals to minus 1 upon 7. Okay, now which one is more negative? Minus 7 upon 3 is more negative. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, a lot of you, I'm sure, are prefer क्या बोलते हैं? I'm sure a lot of you prefer middle term breaking. Oh, sorry, squaring the whole thing over plus minus. So that's why I did that. अच्छा, stream blurry है क्या? Can anyone confirm? I don't think it is, but if it is, tell me. Because मुझे तो सही लग रही है. Is the stream blurry? Yes or no? No, it's not. Yeah, I don't think it is. Because I fixed that. It used to be, but I fixed it. ठीक है. चलें, खैर, let's continue. So remember, we were solving lesser than or equal to 0. So a quadratic inequality is to be done with the help of a quadratic graph. Okay. Now one x-intercept is minus 1 upon 7. The other x-intercept is minus 7 upon 3. And what kind of a curve are we looking at? We're looking at a minimum curve. Okay. Now please don't get your art pad out when trying to make this sketch. Okay. Just get the x-intercepts right and that's it. Now what part of the curve do you want? Since we were solving a quadratic inequality for lesser than or equal to 0. So that means this is the part of the curve that we want. For which the range of x is minus or greater than or equal to minus 7 upon 3. Lesser than or equal to minus 1 upon 7. Okay. I will upload the solution of this. Once I've solved it, I'll upload the solution of it. Achha, those of you who want an alternative method, well, quickly have a look here. Okay, so जो लोग alternative method मांग रहे हैं वो ज़रा यहाँ देखें जल्दी. So when you remove the modulus sign, 5x plus 4 is lesser than or equal to 2x minus 3. Okay, so it's always a good idea to write plus and minus with the left hand side. Okay, so first solve it with 5x plus 4 lesser than or equal to 2x minus 3. Okay, so when you solve this, you will get वही आपके पास आंसर आएगा minus 7 upon 3, something like that. X is lesser than or equal to or something like that. वैसे my suggestion is that whenever you have modulus on both sides, it's always recommended that you square both sides and then do it. Why? Because here, since you have modulus on both sides, so that means both sides will have a plus minus. So you will have to first solve plus with plus, plus with minus. It will just get complicated. वैसे honestly, it will just get complicated. ठीक है. और sign errors के इसमें chances ज़्यादा हैं. So it's best that you square both sides. Okay. So I would have given you an alternative method, but not this time. This time I would strongly prefer that you solve it by squaring both sides only. ठीक है. Okay. Now question number 5. Y is equals to sec square 5x minus tan square 5x upon cosec 5x. Show that y is equals to a sine bx, where a and b are integers, and hence find the value of so and so. Okay, so here's the thing. This is an identity question, and this is also an integration within limits question. Okay, so we have sec, tan, cosec. Now remember, your safest bet when it comes to identity is to bring everything in terms of sine and cos. Okay, what's your safest bet? Your safest bet whenever you have an identity question is to bring everything in terms of sine and cos. Okay, let's see what we can do over here. So we have sec and tan. Let's see how we can write sec and tan actually. But if you, okay. Now having said that, sec और tan की एक identity है. क्योंकि हमारे पास sec square x और minus tan square x है ना, तो there's an identity for that. Okay, so might as well use that identity straight away. We could do it by bringing everything in terms of sine and cos, but then immediately after saying that, I just realized that there's an identity which connects sec and tan. Okay, and considering that this is written as sec square 5x minus tan square 5x, so that means we can immediately write the numerator as 1. Okay, so that means as far as the numerator is concerned, because sec square a minus tan square a, doesn't matter what the angle is, as long as they're both the same, that's going to be equal to 1. So we have 1 upon cosec 5x. Now remember, cosec x is actually equal to 1 upon sine x. Okay, so that means if I shift this in the numerator, this will become sine 5x. There you go. This becomes what? This becomes sine 5x. Why would it be equal to 5? It's not, okay, here's the thing. Read the question carefully. It's not कि it's 5 sec square x minus 5 tan square x. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है. It's sec square 5x minus tan square 5x. ठीक है. So read the question carefully. The angle is 5x. अब angle भले 5x हो, it doesn't matter whether it's 50x, you're going to get 1. Okay, as long as the angles are the same, you're going to get 1. Now, so let's see what it is that we're supposed to do now. Now we are supposed to integrate. So we're supposed to integrate sine 5x within the limits pi upon 5. Let's write that again. Pi upon 5 and 0 with respect to x. Acha, what's sine 5x equal to when you integrate it? Sine 5x, see, when you differentiate cos, you get minus sine, which means when you integrate sine, you get minus cos. So that means this would be minus cos 5x divided by the differential of the angle, which is 5. And don't forget the limits, which happen to be pi upon 5 and 0. Okay, now अब आपने limits से ज़्यादा परेशान नहीं होना, because things will fall into place. This is a non-calculator question, so things will fall into place, given that you guys don't lose your mind. Okay, don't forget that. अच्छा, एक काम करते हैं. I'm going to take this. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's bring the 1 upon 5 outside. Okay. Let's bring the 1 upon 5 outside to make life easy. So this is with the upper limit plugged in. Now let's plug in the lower limit, which would simply be equal to 0. Okay. So 5 and 5 cancel. Now what's cos pi equal to? Cos pi is basically 180. If you don't know the value, that's perfectly all right. Nothing to worry about. Just make a rough sketch of the graph of cos and you will be able to recall exactly what it's equal to. So here's pi, and cos pi is equals to minus 1. And cos 0, by the way, is equal to 1. So that means 1 upon 5 outside. Okay. Square bracket open. Now here we have minus minus 1. Okay, so cos pi is equals to negative 1, but this is minus cos pi, so minus minus 1 will be equal to positive 1. And then minus, what is cos 0 equal to? Cos 0 is equal to 1. So once again, cos 0 is 1, but because there's a minus, so that means minus minus 1. Okay, now what do we have? We have 1 upon 5 into 1 plus 1, which means the final answer is equals to 2 upon 5. There you go. Job done. Okay, now it's an easy question, but a whole lot stuff can go wrong here if you're not careful with the signs. Okay? Yes, of course, beta. You abhi bhi aap pooch rahe ho? You have to memorize values for 30, 0, 30, 60, 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. Okay, and then all the multiples of this. Okay, so like for example 120. But these values you're supposed to figure out using trigonometric identities. Okay, so Rafid, if it was sec square 6x, sec square 6x minus tan square 5x, then we can't use an identity. Okay, we can't use this identity. Okay, show that x minus 1 is a factor of the expression. How do you show that x minus 1 is a factor? So what topics do we do specifically for add maths? But all the topics. I don't know what you mean by that. एग्जाम से पहले आप लोग ऐसे डरा देने वाले सवाल क्यों पूछते हैं वैसे? 1 minus 2 minus 19 plus 20. So 1 plus 20, that's 21. 21 minus 21, that's equal to 0. Okay, for P1, yeah, that's more like it. I made a video on it, check it out. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I made a video on it. You can check it out. Okay? But my suggestion would be that when you're solving past papers, then solve most of the past papers without using a calculator so that you can practice for non-calculator. Okay. Hence, write this as a product of its linear factors. So let's use long division, although I just realized you can use synthetic division also, but let's use long division. So what do we multiply x with? We multiply x with x squared, so it becomes x cubed minus x squared, so we subtract. And when we subtract, what happens? X cubed and x cubed gets eliminated. So minus 2x squared minus minus, which eventually becomes plus, so minus x squared, and the rest of the two terms brought down as it is. So what should I multiply x with? X I can multiply with minus x, so that would be minus x squared plus x. And then we subtract. Upon subtraction, x squared gets eliminated, not by coincidence, by design. Minus 19x minus x, that's minus 20x plus 20. What do I multiply x with? I multiply x with minus 20 so that it can become minus 20x. And then this becomes plus 20, which upon subtraction, the whole thing gets eliminated, not by coincidence, but by design, because we just divided it by the factor. Okay, so whenever you divide something by its factor, the answer should turn out to be 0. Now what's left is to further factorize the quotient, okay, which can be factorized by doing middle term breaking. X squared minus 5x plus 4x minus 20. So x into x minus 5 plus 4 into x minus 5. Now, when you write it as a product of its factors, linear factors, so it's x minus 1 into x minus 5 into x plus 4. Please do not write it equal to 0. Do not write this as 5 and 4. We are not finding out values of x. You're just writing it in factorized form, which means you're introducing brackets and leaving it there. That's it. Yeah, comparing method is acceptable. Synthetic division is acceptable. They're all acceptable, but I use long division because I think long division is the most popular. Okay, comparing is acceptable, synthetic is acceptable, but the reason why I use long division is because it's the most widely done. ठीक है? बेटा synthetic पे video है, देख लो. ठीक है? अगर नहीं आता कोई मसले की बात नहीं है. Now is not the time to learn new methods, okay? When you have an alternative method which works just as fine, okay? I have a video on synthetic, you can watch it. Simple as that. Hence, find the exact solutions. Okay, now if you compare this equation with the equation that you just rewrote as a product of its linear factors, then you will notice something. Okay, and notice the question is saying hence, so that means there's got to be a connection. You will notice that basically, upon comparison, you will notice that x is basically equal to e power y. Okay, x is basically equal to e power y. Okay, and we already know that this equation, if this equation was equal to 0, then we would have the values of x to be equal to 1, 5, and negative 4. Okay, so that means e power y is equals to 1. Okay, and can we solve this? Yes, we can. We can solve this by applying ln on both sides. So ln, so ln e to the power y is equals to ln 1. What's ln 1, fellas? Let's see if you guys remember. What is ln 1? याद है किसी को? Y ln e, which is equal to 1, is equals to ln1, 0. That's correct. So that means y is equals to 0. That's one solution. The other solution would be e power y is equals to 5. Once again, which means ln e power y is equals to ln 5, which means y is equals to ln 5. Okay. Now what about this? E power y is equals to minus 4. What do you say about this? Ln e power y is equals to ln minus 4. So that means y is equals to ln minus 4. Is that correct? But whoever goes to the exam not having a good night's sleep will probably leave this as the answer. Okay, will probably say that this is the answer. I can guarantee you that. Okay, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm afraid I won't be. Okay? But whoever goes to the exam without having a good night's sleep, meaning that they will just be brainlessly solving this question, okay, without realizing that this is actually not possible. Okay, so this is not possible. So what I'm trying to say is, get a good night's sleep before the exam. Okay, so y is equals to 0, comma, ln 5. These are your exact solutions. Business and बेटा जो भी हो ठीक है, clash हो ना हो, एक दिन में 4 पेपर हो. Point is that if you don't get a good night's sleep, you will brainlessly be solving the paper and you won't realize that what you're doing doesn't make any sense. When's the paper? Is it AM or PM? When's the AdMath paper? Is it AM or PM? Sir, आज ही कोई 4 बार ये बोल चुके हैं whether because you guys don't realize how important this is. Reason why I say this so often is because this is so important. AM? Okay, so if it's AM, then you should definitely get a 7 hours sleep, 6 to 7 hours sleep. Minimum. Quality sleep. Okay, 6 to 7 hours of quality sleep. Okay, let's solve this. What if we have black coffee? No, please don't do that. Okay, don't experiment. Don't have black coffee or Red Bull or anything of that sort. Okay, don't experiment with your body. Because जो उसका crash होता है ना, it's just gonna mess up with your brain. Okay, it's gonna mess up with your digestive system, your brain. So don't do that, please. All right, an arithmetic progression is such that S20 minus 400 is equals to 2 times S10, and U1 ratio U6, which basically means the first term is to the sixth term, is 1:5. Find the sum of the first 3 terms of this progression. This was a fun question, so I'm glad you enjoyed. So sum of the first 20 terms, that would mean 20 upon 2 into 2a plus n minus 1, which means 19 times d. Okay, minus 400 is equals to 2 times S10, which means 10 upon 2. Okay, 10 upon 2 into 2a plus n minus 1, so that means 9 times d. So this will give us one equation. Okay, this will give us one equation, which is clearly not enough. 2 1s are 2, 2 10s are 20. So let's start expanding. 20a minus 190d minus 400, let's cross this 2 out, is equals to 20a plus 90d. Not bad. So do we get the value of a immediately? That sounds a little too good to be true. 20 upon 2, that's 10. 2 times. Yeah, I think we do get the value of a immediately. A upon a plus, yeah. So I'm just making sure that I haven't made a calculation error. So I think we're good. 20a and 20a cancel. Okay. So minus 190d minus 90d. Hey, wait a minute. चलो मुझे ज़रा डबल चेक करने दो. जैसा लग रहा है मैंने कुछ गड़बड़ की है. S20 minus 400 is equals to 2 times S10 plus 190d. Yeah. So 190 minus 90, that's equal to 100d. 100d is equals to 400. Okay. So d is equals to 4. So we have the common difference. Okay. Now let's go to this ratio right here. So first term upon the sixth term. So first term would be a, the sixth term would be a plus 5d, okay, and this is equal to what? This is equal to 1/5. Okay, now that we have the value of a, or now that we have the value of d, that means I can simply write this as a plus 20 is equals to 1/5. So that means 5a is equals to a plus 20. So 4a is equals to 20, which means a is equals to 5. Okay, so what were we supposed to do to begin with? So we're supposed to find out the sum of the first three terms. Okay, now you can find out the sum of the first three terms in a formal way, or you can do it in a casual way. Casual way would be that you literally write down the first three terms. Okay, and I think since it's only three terms, you can do that considering that you have the first term and the common difference. So the next term would be 9, and the term after that would be equal to 9 plus 4, which is 13. Okay, so this is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. So just find the sum. 9 plus 4 is 14. 14 plus 13 is equals to 27. So that means the sum is equal to 27. That's it. Let's move on. The diagram shows the curve y is equals to a cos bx plus c for minus 180 to 180. Okay. It is given that a, b, and c are integers. All right. Find the value of a, b, and c. Okay, so let's start with, beta namaz se pehle namaz is at 9:15. Okay, so namaz se pehle inshallah I'll wrap it up. Okay. Okay, so let's start with a. A is the amplitude, so 3 minus minus 7 divided by 2. So 3 minus minus 7 is equal to 10. 10 upon 2. What's that? That's equal to 5. Okay. So this is basically the value of A. Now the graph of cos, if the amplitude is 5, so that means अब बेटा अगर आपकी तरफ 9 बजे तो फिर आप जाके पढ़ लें, ठीक है. अब what can I do? So if the graph is at, it's 10 p.m. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Anyway, so if A is 5, that means the graph of cos is supposed to start at 5. Now it's not starting at 5. And who's responsible for that? C is obviously responsible for that. Why? Because C is probably bringing it down. Okay, so C is bringing it down. And how many units? C is bringing it down by 2 units. Okay, so there you go. C is 2. All right. Sir, I love you. Save my grade. Notice me, please. 9. I taught you in grade 9. Ibrahim. Ibrahim from Nixer. Is that correct? Okay, so we have, so C is not 2, C is minus 2. Yeah, C is minus 2. Okay, let's talk about B. How do we get B? Okay, so B basically depends on cycles. Okay, B basically depends on cycles. Now notice how many cycles do we have? We have 1.5 cycle in 180 degrees. Okay, we have 1.5 cycle in 180 degrees. Okay. So, अब B की value कैसे निकालें? So here's what we can do. So first let's find out how many degrees it will take to complete one cycle. Okay, first let's find out how many degrees it will take to complete one cycle. So here's what we can do. If you have 1.5 cycle, so here's cycle and here is degrees. In 180 degrees, then how long will it take to complete one cycle? Cross multiply. Now 1 upon 5 is basically 3 upon 2. Okay, so 3 upon 2x is equal to 180, and then you can solve for the value of x. So 3 1s are, 3 6 are, so that means x is equals to 120. That means it takes 120 degrees to complete one cycle. Okay, it takes 120 degrees to complete one cycle. Now, what's the formula that I can use to find out the value of B? The formula that I can use to find out the value of B is new period, which is 120, is equals to natural period divided by the coefficient of x. So that means B is equals to 3. Okay, there you go. अच्छा बेटा इब्राहिम प्लीज़ कंट्रोल, नहीं तो मैं वही जो निक्सर में आपके साथ सलूक करता था वही करूँगा. ठीक है, so take it easy fellas. There you go. So we have the value of B. Now, let's move on. Let's do question number 9. A is very simple. It's the amplitude. The formula for that is maximum value minus the minimum value divided by 2. Okay, maximum value minus the minimum value divided by 2. That's the answer. Okay. All right, now question number 9. I hope you guys are aware that there is a change in the syllabus, which is, do I remember 902? Yes, I do remember 902. Which is equation of circle. Equation of circle has been added in the syllabus. तो आप लोग तो बड़े हो गए यार. Grade 9 में मैंने पढ़ाया था, अब 11 में आ गए. Not bad. Yeah, so it says the point A has coordinates so and so, point B has coordinates so and so. Given that AB is the diameter, find the equation of the circle. Now remember, what is it that you need? This is February, March 2025. Yes, that's correct. So we have someone who solved enough past papers. Good job. So if AB is the diameter, then with the help of that, we can determine the center. Okay. So A has coordinates -3, 6. B has coordinates 7, -8. So here's A, -3, 6. And here somewhere is probably B. Okay. So we want the center. Okay. So the center can be found by using the midpoint. So -3 plus 7 upon 2, 6 plus -8 upon 2. So -3 plus 7 is 4, 4 upon 2 is 2, 6 minus 8 is -2, -2 upon 2 is -1. So we have the coordinates of the center. Okay, now use this as the center along with any other point. Let's use A, for example, to find out the radius. Okay, so in fact, not even the radius, just find out r square. So -3 minus 2, the whole thing squared, plus 6 minus -1, the whole thing squared. So r square is equals to 25 plus 49, and what's that equal to? 54, 74. So r square is equals to 74, and now let's put this together. X minus 2, the whole thing squared, plus y minus -1, which eventually becomes y plus 1. And what's that equal to? That's equal to 74. And there you go, fellas. That's the answer. Acha, so what's that? Sir, if you had to find perpendicular bisectors, then this equation would be, yeah, definitely. If let's say you were given 3 points through which the circle was passing, then you would find out the perpendicular bisector of A and C. Then you would, and let's say B was somewhere over here, you would then find out the equation of the perpendicular bisector of B and C. You would solve them simultaneously, which will give you the coordinates of the center, which is the point where they're intersecting, and then you will use that along with some other point to find the radius. Okay, till now full marks. Not bad, fellas. Okay, question number 10. Now I solved this exact question in the function stream. Yeah, this exact question in the function stream. Good job. Sir, have you solved that one circle equation question in the specimen paper? I've done a whole stream on equation of circles. Make sure to check it out. Okay, make sure to check it out. Find the domain of F inverse. Now the domain of F inverse will basically be equal to range of F. Okay, and looking at this function, you can see that it's 5 minus. So that means it will have an asymptote at 5. And what's the y-intercept going to be? The y-intercept is going to be 3. So that means this is what it's going to look like. Okay, and because it has an asymptote at 5, so that means 5 is going to be the maximum value. Okay, and so in one of your circle worksheets the answer is wrong. I checked. Okay, let me know which one it is so I can correct it. So that means the range of F is basically greater than or equal to 3 but lesser than 5. Okay, so please make sure that you guys remember the shapes of the graphs. Okay, so if you have, let's say, -2 e raised to the power -x, then the graph is going to be like this. Okay, if let's say you have positive e raised to the power x, e raised to the power positive x, it's going to be like this. If it's just the coefficient of e is negative and the power on x is positive, it's going to be like this. Okay, so just go over my notes. Okay, just go over my notes, and in that notes I've taken multiple cases. Okay. Okay, so let's see what's next. Solve f of f inverse of x, which is equal to 5x minus 4. Now remember, this, a function multiplied by its inverse leaves you with just x. That's it. So basically x is equal to, how to figure out the value of the asymptote? The constant that you are left with, that's always the asymptote. Okay, the constant that you're left with, that is the asymptote. I physically can't do functions however much I try. Acha, who's that? I did a whole stream on functions yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Make sure to check it out. The notes are available on the website, mathleadbysaad.com, for free. Okay, I don't know how many times I've mentioned that. X squared minus 5x plus 4 is equals to 0. So you have x squared minus 4x minus x plus 4 is equals to 0. So that means x into x minus 4. Yep, this was in my functions worksheet. So that means we have some regular viewers. X equals to 1 or x equals to 4. Will both these solutions be accepted? No. Both of these solutions will not be accepted. Only x equals to 4 will be accepted. Why is that? Who can tell me? Who can tell me why that is? You need 150 to 160. Acha, what's that? This is on the... Oh, Shahzeb. Do you guys know that Shahzeb is actually a distinction holder? Sorry, Shahzeb, I don't know if I was allowed to disclose that or not, but mashallah say, he is one of the distinction holders. Yeah, so it has to be inside the domain, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being serious. It has to be in the domain of both the inverse function and also the regular function. Okay, part 3. On the axis, it's on the website, mathleadbysaad.com. Okay, now, on the axis, sketch the graph of y is equals to f of x, and hence sketch the graph of y is equals to f inverse of x. Show clearly the positions of any points where your graph meets the coordinate axis and the positions of any asymptotes. Okay, so let's start with y is equals to f of x. We just saw that its y-intercept will be at 3 and its asymptote will be at 5. Okay, so let's make the asymptote first. Here we go. बेटा अभी खुद आप लोग डिस्टिंक्शन की बातें कर रहे थे, अब उसकी डिस्टिंक्शन एक्चुअली में आ गई तो आपने उसको नर्ट कहना शुरू कर दिया. वही बात है ना, जब तक अपने पास कोई चीज़ नहीं है तो वो बुरी है, जब अपने पास आ जाती है तो फिर वो एक्सेप्टेबल हो जाती है. Okay, now then what about if you have a point which has coordinates 0, 3, that means on the inverse graph it will have point 3, 0. Okay, and then the asymptote will be at 5. The asymptote will be at 5, so that means here is the vertical asymptote. Okay, okay, now what do? We draw the inverse. Okay, and before you walk away from it, before you move on to the next question, just ask yourself, do these two graphs look like mirror images of one another along the line y equals to x? Okay, you can even draw the line y equals to x for reference if you want. Okay, so there you go. Job done. Question number, how many marks? 4 easy marks. Question number 11. So for part 3 of this question, why did we reject 1? Ishal, we rejected 1 because good question. Yeah. So the domain of the regular function is greater than or equal to 0. The domain of, अच्छा मैंने actually यहाँ पे सही से लिखा नहीं ना, किसी ने point out भी नहीं किया. Domain of the inverse function is basically this. Okay, now because here we have the normal function and the inverse function, so we want a value of x which is part of both the inverse function as well as the normal function. So x equals to 4 is the one that's part of both. Okay. All right, write down the initial position vector of P. So simply plug in t equals to 0. So you have 12 and 5. That's it. Find the speed of P. Sorry, not 12 and 5, 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Okay, so to find the speed of P, a good idea would be to first write it in a way that you can clearly see what is the velocity vector. So this is the velocity vector, and if you want to find out the speed, simply take the magnitude of the velocity vector. Okay, in case anyone's struggling with velocity vectors, I've done a whole stream on it, so make sure to check it out. 144 plus 25, square root of which is 169, square root of which is 13 meters per second. Achha, don't worry whether you write meters per second or not, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, we have bigger fish to fry. units is definitely not one of those. Hence, determine whether the point P passes through the position vector so-and-so. Now, if it does pass, okay, so the two values of t that we get, the value of t that we get basically should be the same. That is, if it does pass. Okay, that's how you check. So this, when equated with this, so both the equations should give us the same value of t. Yes, I have. And I haven't done one stream on velocity, I've done multiple streams on velocity vectors. So you have 2 plus 12t, which is equal to 158. So 12t is equals to 156, and then you can find out the value of t, 156 upon 12. I think let's start simplifying it by 3. Or how about 4? Yeah, let's do 4. 4 3s are 12, 3 carry, 4 9s are 36. So 39 upon 3, that's equal to 13. Okay, so one value of t is 13. Okay, and the other value of t, 5 minus 5t is equals to negative 48. Yep, this will by no means give us 13. So minus 48 minus 5, that's equal to minus 53. Minus minus cancels, so t is equals to 53 upon 5, which is equal to 10.6. Okay, so values of t are different. Okay, make sure to write this statement. Okay, don't just leave it hanging in the middle. Okay, values of t are different, therefore does not pass. Okay. My notes are available on the website, mathleadbysart.com. You can download them for absolutely free. Okay. So can you do P3 early? Let me see if I can find the time. The diagram shows the triangle OAC. The point B lies on AC such that AB and AC are in the ratio 1:4. All right. Given that OA is equals to A, OB is equals to B, and OC is equals to C, find C in terms of A and B. Okay, find C in terms of A and B. So C basically means that we have to find OC in terms of A and B. Okay, so a good idea would be to first find AB. Okay, so vector AB would be equal to AO. Okay, AO plus OB. So AO plus OB, that means minus A plus B. Okay, now AB and AC are in the ratio 1:4. Okay, now considering that we have AB, AB and AC are in the ratio 1:4. Okay, I just realized that. So that means this is basically 4 parts and this is 3 parts. Okay, so considering that now we have AB and we can replace it with minus A plus B, okay, upon AC, which is equal to 1/4, that means AC would be equal to minus 4A plus 4B. Okay, now how do we find out OC? OC, which is basically equal to C, will be equal to OA plus AC. So OA is A plus AC, which means plus minus 4A plus 4B. So A minus 4A, that's equal to minus 3A plus 4B. That is what OC is equal to. ठीक हो गया? सर वर्कआउट स्प्लिट बताएं, इतनी अच्छी चलिए अच्छी बात है, आपने माशाल्लाह बोल दिया, आई अप्रिशिएट दैट. सिंथेटिक डिवीजन अलाउड है बेटा, सिंथेटिक डिवीजन अलाउड है, बिल्कुल अलाउड है. ऑलराइट, लास्ट, नो नॉट लास्ट क्वेश्चन, सेकंड लास्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, the diagram shows part of the curve y is equals to, sir, right C, because questions also right C. Oh yeah, चलें C लिख लेता हूँ. Sir, at this point, sir. So C is equals to minus 3A plus 4B. ठीक है भाई, गलती हो गई, माफ़ कर दो, C लिख दिया, खुश. Alright, the diagram shows the part of the curve y is equals to 2 minus 3 over x minus 1 in the straight line so and so. Okay, The curve intersects the x-axis at the point A. By the way, there was an additional page given after this also for this question, okay, which I forgot to include. Okay, so don't think that this is the amount of space that you're given. You're given this plus another page. Okay, the curve intersects the x-axis at the point A and the line at point B. The line intersects the x-axis at the point C. Find the area of the shaded region ABC, giving your answer in the form of P plus L and Q, where P and Q are rational numbers. Okay. So in order to find out the area of the shaded region, first let's have a look at all the ingredients that we want. So we want to first find out area of this triangle, okay, which means I better have the coordinates of B and I better have the coordinates of C. Okay, and then we will find out the area under the curve, which means I better have the x-coordinate of A and I better have the x-coordinate at B. Okay, so that means no matter what, we have to find out the coordinates. Okay, so let's start by finding out the coordinates of A. So as far as A goes, A has an x-coordinate and the y-coordinate is 0. Okay, and where is point A is on the curve, not on the line. So that means y is equals to 2 minus 3 over x minus 1. So all we got to do is plug in 0 in place of y. So 2 minus 3 over x minus 1, which means 3 over x minus 1 is equals to 2. So 2x minus 2 is equals to 3. So that means 2x is equals to 5 and x is equals to 5 upon 2. ठीक है, अभी इसको साइड पे रख देते हैं. Okay, now let's talk about, let's write this here. Let's talk about B. B is the point where the line and the curve are intersecting. Okay, so B will have coordinates x comma y, and that is basically the point where the line and curve are intersecting. So let's make, okay, 6y. 6y is equals to 9 minus 2x. Let's find the most efficient way of solving them simultaneously. So let's just plug in the equation of the curve into the equation of the straight line. So 6 into 2 minus 3 over x minus 1 is equals to 9 minus 2x. Okay. So what are we looking at? We're looking at 12 minus 18 over x minus 1, which is equal to 9 minus 2x. Now let's move all the terms to the left-hand side and let's move 18 over x minus 1 to the right-hand side. Okay, so 12 minus 9 will be 3. So 3 plus 2x is equals to 18 over x minus 1. Now we cross multiply. So 3 plus 2x into x minus 1 is equals to 18. So 3 times x, that's 3x minus 3 plus 2x square minus 2x minus 18 is equals to 0. So that means 2x square, 3x minus 2x, that's equal to plus x, minus 3 minus 18, that's equal to minus 21, that's equal to 0. Okay, so we're looking for factors of 42 that leave us with positive 1. So that's going to be 7 and 6. Yeah. So 2x square plus 7x minus 6x minus 21 is equals to 0. Let's take x common. So we have 2x plus 7. Let's take minus 3 common. So we once again have 2x plus 7 is equals to 0. So that means x is equals to 3. Achha, here's the thing. X equals to 3 is the point that we want. Okay. X equals to 3 is the point that you want. Okay. The other x coordinate doesn't make sense. Okay. It's a valid solution, but it doesn't make sense for us. Okay. We're looking for the positive value of x. Okay. Once you have the value of x, let's find out the value of y also. So y is equal to 2 over 3 over 2 minus 3 over x minus 1. So what's x equals to? X is equals to 3. So that means y is equals to 2 minus 3 over 3 minus 1. What's that equal to? That's equal to 2. So y is equals to 2 minus 1.5, which means y is equals to 1 upon 2. Okay. So far so good. Let's just double check, make sure we're on the right track. 2 minus 3 over 3 minus 1. So 2 minus 3 upon 2, that's 1 upon 2. अच्छा उसमें ही plug in करके देख लेते हैं. 9 minus 6, that's 3. Yeah, there you go. So that means we also have the coordinates of B. The coordinates of B are 3 comma half. Achha, last let's find out the coordinates of C. So C will have an x coordinate and the y coordinate will be 0, and C is on the line 6y 9 minus 2x. So let's plug in 0 in place of y. So 0 is equals to 9 minus 2x. So that means x is equals to 9 upon 2. ठीक है, अभी तक हमने क्या किया? We've just gotten all the ingredients together. Okay, so we've just basically bought all the ingredients. Now it's time to put them in the oven. Okay, now it's time to mix them up and put them in the oven. Okay, so there was an extra page that you were given with this. So here we are. Oops, you can't say again. Here we go. IGCSE Math students miss you. I miss them too. I miss doing IGCSE Math streams also. Especially वो जो end में हमने past paper run throughs किया था ना. Definitely miss those. Okay, so now that it's time to put this all together, let's first find out the area under the, let's find out the area of triangle. Okay, so I'm going to color code it to keep things easy. So as far as the area of the triangle is concerned, what's the height of the triangle? The height of the triangle will be the y coordinate of b, which is equal to 1 upon 2. Okay, and this will be the base. This will be the base. Okay, so area of triangle is equal to 1 upon 2 times the base, which will be 9 upon 2 minus 3 into the height, which is 1 upon 2. Okay, so 9 upon 2 is 4.5. 4.5 minus 3 is actually 3 upon 2. Okay? You can take the LCM and then do it. I have just done it directly to save some time. So 3 upon 2 into 1 upon 2. So this is going to be equal to 3 upon 8. Okay, let me just double check, make sure everything's correct. 9 minus 6 is 3, 3 upon 2. So 2, 2, 2, that's 8. So 3 upon 8. There we go. Okay. Then let's find out the area under the curve. Area under curve. For which, my apologies for my handwriting being so horrible. It's just that I'm in a rush. So area under the curve would be the integral of 2 minus 3 upon x minus 1 within the limits 5 upon 2 and 3. 5 upon 2 and 3 with respect to x. Okay, up here's my advice to you. My advice to you is that you may integrate this separately and bring the 3 outside so that you can easily apply, so that you can easily integrate it. Okay, so this is what you're integrating within the limits 3 and 5 upon 2. 3 and 5 upon 2. And obviously, all this is integrated with respect to x. Thank you, sir, face purple. Okay, कोई बात नहीं, इंशाल्लाह A level से मुलाकात होगी. So when you integrate 2, you get 2x. Okay, so let's plug in the limits in 2x. So that would be 3 and 5 upon 2. Okay, so let's plug in the limits while we're at it. So 6 minus 2 into 5, that's 10. 10 upon 2, that's 5. Okay, so let's just double check. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 upon 2 is 5. Yep, so 6 minus 5, that's equal to 1. Okay, then let's integrate 3. Okay, and don't forget that there's a minus sign. So we'll bring the minus sign in a minute. Into 1 over x minus 1 within the same two limits. 3 and 5 upon 2. So this would be equal to 3 into ln x minus 1 within the limits 3 and 5 upon 2. Okay, so that means we're looking at 3 ln 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2, minus 3 ln 5 upon 2 minus 1. So 5 upon 2 is 2.5. 2.5 minus 1 is 1.5, which can be written as 3 upon 2. Okay, so calculator nahi hai, but still it's not that difficult. All right, so what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to do 1 minus 3 ln 2 minus 3 ln 3 upon 2. Okay, and throughout this time, keep your eyes on the prize, meaning the way that you're supposed to write it. Okay, you're supposed to write it as P plus L and Q. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, yeah, in fact, I have an idea. इस 3 को कॉमन लेते हैं, ठीक है, और यहीं पे इसको एज अ सिंगल लोगैरिथम लिख लेते हैं, ठीक है, इसको बाद पे नहीं डालते. So 2 logs are being subtracted, so that means ln 2 ln 2 divided by 3 upon 2. Okay, which means that this will become ln 2 into 2 upon 3, which means that this will become ln 4 upon 3. And don't forget that you have a 3 pehle se. Okay, let's add an extra page. Okay, don't worry, you will be given plenty of working, and the reason why I've run out of space is because I attached a picture of it here, okay, which obviously you don't have to. So we're almost there. All right, now let's put this all together. So we have 1 minus, don't forget that there was a 3 here. Don't forget about this 3. Don't forget about this 3. So 1 minus 3 ln 4 upon 3. Okay, now this is the area under the curve. And in this, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to add the area of the triangle. Okay, so 1 plus 3 upon 8. Okay, and also notice that the way that you're supposed to give the answer does not have anything as the coefficient of ln. So we got to have 1 here. So no problem. If we know the rules of logs, there shouldn't be a problem. So 4 upon 3, we'll just cube the whole thing. So 8 plus 3, that's 11. 11 upon 8 minus ln 64 upon 3 cube, which is equal to 27. And there you go, fellas. That is the answer. ठीक है, let's just make sure कि हमने कोई sign error या कुछ इस तरह का तो नहीं किया. नहीं. अच्छा, इसका आंसर चेक भी कर लेते हैं. Just a minute. अच्छा, hang on, let's not get carried away. ओके, अगर आपका प्लस आ रहा है ना, तो प्लस के साथ हो सकता है ln 27/64 है. अच्छा, ओके, वेट अ मिनट, बिकॉज हमें प्लस करके लिखना है ना, ठीक है, तो कोई बात नहीं. प्लस के साथ आंसर जो है वो रेसिप्रोकल आएगा. वो क्यों आएगा मैं आपको बताता हूँ. ओके, इफ लेट्स से either you're gonna get this or you're gonna get this, or it would be 11/8. And actually, you know what, since the question is saying plus, let's write it as plus only. Okay, why is that? I'll explain. So basically, if I take the reciprocal of this, this will become ln 27/64 raised to the power -1. Then minus will become plus. So 11/8 plus ln 27/64. So it's best to write it the way the question wants, since the question wrote it with a plus sign. Okay, then it's best that we leave it like this only. ठीक है, वैसे दोनों आंसर्स सही हैं. I'm just trying to pull out the marking scheme and see if they've allowed both answers or not. So as far as I remember, they have allowed both answers. No, actually they haven't. Because they want it in plus form, so they haven't allowed both answers. Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you guys that this is not acceptable. ठीक है, you are supposed to, because the question has provided us with a specific format, no? And the format has plus sign, so we better bring it like this. Okay, this is the only acceptable answer. Thank you, Sanya, I appreciate it. So what is your prediction for paper 1? Raima, I think it's your first time here, because you know I don't give predictions. All right, okay, this is the last question. So, given that y is equals to 1/x minus 3 the whole thing cubed, show that y minus dy upon dx minus 1/3. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First, let's differentiate, but before we differentiate, let's write it nicely. Y is equals to x minus 3 the whole thing raised to the power minus 3. So dy by dx is equal to minus 3 x minus 3 the whole thing raised to the power minus 4 into 1, which really does not make a difference. So that means dy by dx is equal to minus 3 over x minus 3 the whole thing power 4. Now while we're at it, let's just differentiate it twice. So d square y upon dx square is equal to minus 3 x minus 3 the whole thing raised to the power minus 4. Actually no, this was dy by dx. Okay, this is dy by dx. So let's call it dy by dx only. Okay. Now let's differentiate it again. So d square y upon dx square is equals to minus 4 times minus 3, which is equal to 12. X minus 3, the whole thing raised to the power 5. Okay, and let's write this nicely, and time to put it all together. 12 upon x minus 3, the whole thing power 5. Okay. Okay, so are you going to do Math P3 stream? If so, I've already done today's stream, Ryan. I did a stream on differential equations. I think it was around 4:30. Okay, so let's put this all together. Y, which means 1 upon x minus 3, the whole thing cubed. Okay. Minus dy by dx, so that means minus 3 over, minus minus, so minus 3 over x minus 3, the whole thing power 4, minus 1 upon 3 into d square y upon dx square, which is right here. There you go. Okay, and when we simplify this, we should get what the question says. अच्छा मरियम, आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है. ठीक है, आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है. ठीक है. और बट हियर्स द थिंग, देखो अगर यहाँ पे ln के साथ कोई कांस्टेंट होता ना, लेट्स से यहाँ पे होता r, तो plus and r can be negative, but because the constant with ln, there is no constant with ln, which means there is plus 1. Okay, because there is no constant with ln, so that means it's just positive 1. That's why we have to write it as positive. Okay, like for example, p could have been negative. Okay, but because this is plus ln q, so that means the coefficient of ln is 1 and it's positive. Okay. Okay, now let's put this all together. Now this will be 1 upon x minus 3, the whole thing cubed, minus minus plus, so 3 upon x minus 3, the whole thing power 4, and this will become 3 1s are, 3 4s are, so minus 4 upon x minus 3, the whole thing power 5. Okay, now what's the LCM going to be? The LCM is going to be the biggest power, which is x minus 3, the whole thing power 5. Okay, and here's what we have to do. We have to multiply this with x minus 3, the whole thing square, which means x square minus 6x plus 9, and we have to multiply this with x minus 3, so that means plus 3x minus 9, and we have to multiply this with nothing, so that means minus 4 as it is. Okay, so we have x square plus 9 minus 9 cancels, by the way, minus 6x plus 3x, so that's minus 3x minus 4 over x minus 3, the whole thing power 5. Now you can probably simplify this and write this as minus 4x plus x minus 4 over x minus 3, the whole thing power 5. ठीक है, यहाँ पे x into x minus 4 plus 1 into x minus 4. Let's see if we reach, yep, we're there. So x plus 1 into x minus 4 over x minus 3, the whole thing power 5. And that's it, fellas. We are done. ठीक हो गया? So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys got a decent score. And I hope you guys are getting enough practice for the non-calculator paper, because there's not a lot of material available online. So that's the idea. ठीक है? अच्छा, run through हम इंशाल्लाह Sunday वाले दिन करेंगे. ठीक है? So I'm going to stop here. I will inshallah see you guys in the next class. Okay, so I'll do a vote on my channel. Let me know what you guys want, whether you guys want a topical stream or whether you guys want another mock. Okay, I'll do a vote tonight. You guys can let me know. It will be on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel, so you guys can let me know. Okay, so अगर जो भी होगा कल होगा. I'll try and see if I can keep both. If I can keep a mock tomorrow and also a topical stream. Let's see if I can find the time to do that. Okay, so you guys can let me know. All right, so I'll stop here. See you guys inshallah in the next stream. Take care, fellas. Keep solving past papers. Keep working hard. Jate jate, if you haven't liked the stream, please do that. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Appreciate it. Take care. Allah Hafiz.